Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here today. I have a playthrough for Mayor of Chicago. This is a solo-only game from Impatience, the publishing house that gives you the Oniverse. You are playing the Mayor of Chicago, and you are slowly building out your city. You're going to have a deck of cards that are two-sided, and you have decisions to make every turn. Am I going to build my city? Am I going to hire assistants that give me benefits and powers? Along the way, you're going to be looking for the best combos, establishing the most fruitful adjacencies, and managing your resources so that you can beat your opponent and become the best mayor that you can. So let's dive into this full solo playthrough for Mayor of Chicago after these channel announcements. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, a multi-platform gaming empire, and your one stop for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. The heart of Mayor of Chicago is in this 45 card deck, double-sided, one side city, one side the assistants. Going to establish a 4x7 grid with the starter cards from the deck on the left-hand side and these event cards that I will go over later. Over the course of the game, we're going to be playing cards one at a time, emptying this deck, filling this grid. Along the way, we're going to be managing 6 different types of resources. So here is the main currency of the game, which is money. And we start with 25 money. And then we have our victory points. Everybody loves to talk about victory points. These are the votes. That is how we get elected mayor. This will do hopefully nothing but go up along the way. We also have some secondary resources. We have these 2, which is popularity and power. How we establish ourselves. These are going to be thresholds that we manipulate in order to get discounts from the cards. We'll go over that in a little bit. We also have booze. Booze is kind of another complement to currency, but a little bit more risky, more powerful and more risky. And finally, we have corruption, which is negative points in the game. So we're going to want to manage that one as much as possible. Last part of setup is that we are going to check out the opponents. So we have 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star opponents for difficulty, and I've yet to beat the 4th star, I will admit. They don't provide active opposition to you. They're more like thresholds that you have to meet. So in this boss, you have to beat a vote total of 40 points with all the pluses and minuses. Here, 60, which is a lot different. And then there are some thresholds that will be active throughout the game as we interact with the event cards. I'll go over those in a minute. So we have popularity and power and corruption. Most of the turns you're going to take in Mayor of Chicago are super simple. You have this deck, you're going to draw a card, you're going to figure out what to do with it. Draw a card, do something with it. Draw a card, do something with it until the deck is empty. The main thing that you're going to be doing most often is filling in your city. When you fill in your city, you fill in from left to right. So I choose one row in order to figure out where I'm going to place my card. And then I keep on going. So if I wanted to place another card, usually I'm going to want to place it in the leftmost row. That's usually a free placement, so that would be just fine right there. But sometimes I might see an opportunity to get a better adjacency, so I might want to place a card here, extending out a row before I have completed a particular column. If I do that, then I would get 1 corruption. So the game is encouraging you to build slowly over the course of time, but every once in a while, you're going to want to shoot out and create an adjacency that will cost you a little bit of corruption. What am I looking for as I place my card? You're looking to create adjacencies in these little squares. So as I place a card here, you notice that I have 2 dollar symbols that are next to each other. That's good. And then in my next placement, let's go ahead and place another dollar symbol. I now have 3 dollar symbols together. Doesn't do anything right now, but I've set myself up for a future turn. The symbols you'll be putting together are the same symbols that you'll be tracking on that tracker over there. So you have money, popularity, power, votes, and booze. There's also this flag that is a wild resource. So instead of this card, if I pulled this one, it would accomplish the same thing. I would just declare that it is worth money whenever I'm about to score it. Every once in a while, I'm not going to want to place a city card. I'm going to want to instead hire an assistant. So the assistants are on the back, and there are tons of different assistants with different powers. In order to hire an assistant, I would pay the cost in gold. So this is where power and popularity come in. So there is a normal gold cost, which is normally very expensive. But if I meet the popularity goal, some of them are the thresholds are higher than others, then I can pay a discount. When I pay the money to hire an assistant, I usually pay in money, but sometimes I'll be paying in booze. So there's my assistant. Let's say I had some booze lying around. I could, instead of spending $2, spend 1 booze. So if I had a gap of $6, then I would spend 3 booze. You get the deal. For every time I spend booze, then I would get a corruption. So no matter whether I used 4 booze or 1 booze or however many booze I want, that entire transaction would net me 1 corruption. Either way, when I hire an assistant, I can put it aside. So I don't have to place it right away, but I can put it aside in a set-aside area for placement later. You can only have 10 hired assistants ever in this game, whether they're in your city or in your reserve. So by the end of the game, you're going to want to make sure that you've played all your assistants. When you are ready to strike, instead of drawing a card, you can place one of your assistants. Let's say I had hired Dino over here. How fitting, his name is Dino. I paid my money already because they were hired, and now I could just place them. So I look for an area that is enclosed. And you see, if you see the streets are always going to be marked by 4 cards next to each other. And then 2 things happen in terms of gathering resources. 1, whatever card I place, this does not matter, I will score or gain resources depending on what is here in the middle. So you want to maximize this because this resource right here will only give you 1 popularity. So then I would look over to my chart and give myself 1 popularity right there. Here, I've been able to put together 3 money. So it's multiplicative. So for 1 symbol, you get 1. For 2 symbols, you get 3. For 3 symbols, you get 5. And for all 4 symbols, you get 8. So you really want to take advantage of that as much as you can. So we got 3 symbols. Boom. Let's get 5 money and put us up to 30. That's the first thing that you get. The second thing that you get is you get to trigger their power. Most of the cards are going to have a simple additional gather. So for every $sign that is around in these 12 squares, or if there are other cards, that's going to be a little bit less, but whatever is around, you will gather these resources. So right now I have the dollars will give me booze and power. So we have 1, 2, 3 of those symbols. So we're going to get 1, or we're going to get 3 power and 3 booze each. Different assistants will get different resources. So if I instead had placed this one, I would still get the 1 popularity and 5 money. But I would also, depending on the vote icon, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So then instead of all that, we would have 1 money, which would bring it to 34. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. And 4 votes. Going to want to add those vote totals. Votes don't do anything. They're just endgame points. So like in any engine building game, you're going to want to hold off on getting too many votes early, but by the end, vote, vote, vote. Vote early and vote often. The 2 powers that I just showed you are the basic versions of powers that depend on those outside adjacencies. There's plenty of other powers, which I will explore further in our playthrough. Sometimes you don't want to place your city or hire the assistants. That is when you are going to discard, which you could do a maximum of 7 times per game. Well, you could do it more, but then you're starting to eat into your city, and that's negative points. So be careful with that. The opponent, and I'll go over the opponents in a little bit, but each of them is going to have some kind of discard indicator, which means that as I discard, I'm going to get some kind of benefit. I have to think about something. So some of the different opponents are going to have different values, so either 1 or 2. So then I would discard the assistant side, and then that would get me whatever the reward is, which is, in this case, 1 coin. So that's not free. Anytime I discard an assistant, then at the end of the game, then I would lose votes. And that's if I want a little bit of money. If I just don't want to mess with it and I want to get rid of the card, then I would get rid of it on its city side, put that away somewhere where it will not confuse you, and then just make a little pile of that. That doesn't get you any penalty, but it does not get you a reward either. Along with managing my resources, which is most of what you're going to be thinking about from turn to turn, I also have to contend with these event cards. So there are 6 event cards, and they're going to trigger whenever you complete a column. So let's say I was working on something. Oh my goodness, I just scored a corruption. That's not great if I place it there. So let's place it over here. And down here, I've now completed this column, which means that I need to trigger this event. They're double-sided, so there's plenty of opportunity to interact there. Generally, they're going to have an immediate effect and then an end-of-game effect. And they are going to depend on the thresholds of the boss. So if I'm over the threshold, then something good happens. If I'm under the threshold, then something bad happens. Generally, I will go over all those individual effects as they trigger throughout the game. Once I have run out of this deck, then I have triggered the end of the game and then scoring. So there are a couple of scoring conditions. I'll go into more detail when I reach the end of the playthrough, but for the most part, you're going to want to complete your city. I lose points if I don't complete my 4x7 city. I trigger all of these end of game effects, and that's going to manipulate my tracks in different ways. I deal with my corruption. Each corruption is worth -1 vote. So if I wanted to get rid of this 6 corruption, I would have to spend 12 money. Hopefully I have 12 money. But if I don't, then my vote total would continue to go down. If I am playing with an opponent that has the penalty for discarded assistants, not all of them do that, but some of them do, I would get minus votes for that. And then whenever my vote total lands up, that will determine victory or defeat. You consult the boss one last time to see if you hit that total, and that will tell you if you are the victor. And that's basically all you need to know to get started. Let's dive in. All right, let's get started. I have chosen the heavy vote. Heavy vote. As the opponent, it is 2 stars. So when I discard, I'm going to get 2 coins, but they're going to count 1 vote against me at the end of the game. Threshold is 50. The hearts are 9. The weapon is 12. That's not so great. Corruption 6. These are the thresholds I have to meet that'll interact with the events. The first event is going to be fundraising season. I chose these randomly. So double-sided. So I got the heart one. So if I'm able to exceed the number of hearts, I'm going to get 2 coins per heart that I exceed. That's probably not going to happen in the first round. 9 hearts is a lot, but it's something to go for. It's my opening 4 cards. Looking for the adjacencies right here. Might be able to score that 4 money cluster, which would be really nice. And I have a heart right there. I'm going to pull from the top and no money, but I could do this. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Or I could go up here to get my popularity started at least. I mean, I could look at the assistant in the back, but at this point, there's really no advantage. You want to see what the board is how it's going to develop first before you start thinking about assistants. So in this game, it's basically like you have a 3-card hand. So this would be card 1, this would be card 2, and you can always see the next card. This card 3. So you're basing your decisions around all of those factors. So because I see the flag over here, and there's also a flag in the bottom left over here, having a lot of money early is not the worst thing in the world at all. So I'm kind of punting a little bit on the opportunity for more popularity, but that's not a penalty. The penalty comes at the end. So if I'm not up in popularity, at least by 9, I'm going to lose money, but I have some time for that. Getting early money is a good thing. So the next one is not going to be a money. So let's go ahead and take advantage of this flag. I'm going to put that right here. That's a lot of flags, but all that is going to equal 9 money when I put the assistant down there. So here's where I could at least start to look at the assistants. All right, so for every gun that is in that perimeter, I'm going to get a weapon or a power and 2 gold. They're expensive, and their threshold is impossible, at least for me right now. Or I can lay down some votes. Votes in the early game, I've never had success. I've only played this a couple times. But, just getting victory points early doesn't seem to be all that amazing. However, if I put it here, and eventually I get an assistant down here, I have all of these vote symbols to interact with. And as you saw, you don't only get votes when you place the right card here. You could get, power or money. So this looks like a pretty good deal. And I also have the flag, which is wild, to interact with that. Let's see what's next. So the next card is more votes. Or an assistant. If I place this card, that I can... so I get the benefit of whatever's in the middle, and I would get the benefit of what is adjacent. So right now, this is not fabulous. So I'm not going to really look at this one right now. Getting another vote. See, this doesn't excite me too much, but this does. Let's see if I can take advantage of that. Not all that exciting so far. It's all set up. The combos are going to come later. I don't have the threshold right here. I'm not even close. I haven't even started getting stuff. So this doesn't trigger. So I can move on to the next column. See what I got. I got some symbols, more votes. And on the other side, okay, so every money that is around here, I would get 2 more coins for myself. So that would be a candidate for over here. 3 is not the best, but not the worst either. But I would trigger this and collect this, so put me in a real good shape for money, so I wouldn't have to think about it too much for a future assistance. That's a good thing to think about. And it's a 9 is also not a bad cost for this. So you know what? Let's get him, but I'm not going to place him right now. So right now I have 25. That would go down to 16. So now I have Martin in reserve to be able to be placed later. So I'm going to continue to play my city, a lot of weaponry, or I can hire the assistant. It is 11, which is a pretty pricey deal. But if for every surrounding vote, which I was looking for, I would get 1 power and 1 coin. Looks like we have a winner. So let's go ahead and bring us down to 5. So you know, it seems like reserving is pretty powerful, but then you run out of money. So you're not going to be able to do too much reserving. And instead of drawing, I'm just going to place them immediately to get the money. So we have, first of all, we are going to get, I could decide. I could get either 3 popularity and 3 votes, or I can get 1 popularity and 5 votes. Let's go ahead and do 3 and 3. I think I'm feeling pretty confident that I can, kind of make up the vote totals I go on. And now I can trigger this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 weapon is pretty amazing. The threshold is 12, so I am already almost there. And that is 8 more money, so 5 and 8 make 13. Not a bad deal at all. All right, next up is a bunch of booze as a resource. I don't love it. Let's see what the other side is. We have Marty. There we go, Marty, who interacts with hearts. Don't have a ton of hearts right now, and hearts per vote. I really need to be like 4 or 5 in order to start making this worth it. So I'm sorry about that, Marty. But at least there's a flag. So let me go ahead and take advantage of the flag. I'm going to have to do something about these votes. That is unfortunate that I ended up with so many votes on the right-hand side over here, but we can work with that. All right, let's see what else I got. We got the next card. More votes, of course. Okay, so this is a special. This is the shaker. So this is an always-on power that you can do. This is another variation of power. So if I play this, then every time I discard an assistant, and it has to be an assistant, it can't just be that face-down discard, I would, in addition to getting the money, I would get another weapon. So, yeah, I mean, the threshold for a weapon is pretty high, so I can kind of beat that threshold pretty easily with this card. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I was at 13, and now I'm going to be at 7. And I'm going to place them immediately because I want to start taking advantage of them. So let's go ahead and put them right here and get some money back. So that is 8. That puts me back to 15. I set that up pretty good. Sorry about you. I'm going to have to figure out what to do with you at a future turn. And so every time I discard, I am going to be able to get an additional weapon. So nothing happens now besides that initial placement, but it's going to pay off for me. Let's see if it pays off for me right now. So we have some gun on the right-hand side. Nothing too attractive that I can make now as a match, but I have 11 coins for every money around. I get that. It's kind of a minor power, pretty expensive, but I'm at 8, so that's the discount, so that this would be 8. I already have somebody that is going to trigger off of the dollars. There aren't too many of those in the deck, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. And I will discard them for the money. So you have to keep them face up so that you know that the discard happened for money, and also to interact with the score at the end. So I'm going to get -1 vote, but at least right now I get 2 money, which puts me at 17. And also I get a power. So next up is this card, the good stuff, which is the dollar signs are on the other side. So that could be okay. It won't be okay for placement, but it would be okay for, surrounding things. And then on the other side, a 44. It's one of the higher cards. This means that I could imitate any of the discarded assistants when I place them. So, and also, because I'm at 9 power, I would get it for cheaper. Oh, wow. This is where the game starts to tickle a little bit, tickle your brain cells. Do I want to, set up some dollar signs to interact with what I have going on over here? Do I want to reserve this? A pretty powerful card. There are other powerful cards in here, though. You have to weigh that stuff as you play Mayor of Chicago. So let me go ahead and place them. I kind of like the idea of having more dollar signs out there. You saw what happened when I prioritized votes. I got a little bit lucky over here, but prioritizing votes at the beginning is not going to give you that much flexibility. At least with the dollar signs, I'm set up for it. And let's see if I can make some more things happen. All right, more cards. We have more dollar signs, and the backside says for every weapon around that area, they'll give me 1 vote. Yeah, I don't know about that. And the one coin discount, we'll see what happens. Not getting a lot of gun around there. I'm getting my gun from elsewhere. So do I want to place this? Actually, that wouldn't be the worst in the world. Got some dollar signs over here. And this would be 2, which is not ideal. I think I want to discard this one. Yeah, let's go ahead and discard you. I'm not trying not to get too crazy with that. So let's see. I got some more money that gives me to 19 and another power, which brings me to 10. 10 is a pretty good number, if I may say so myself. All right, next card up, we have some vote, a wild, and more money. I like to get money out in the field. And then we have Edgar. I can pay some money and buy some booze. I think this is, you can keep on doing this so as much as you want to. If you want to pay 3 and get 3 booze, that's how I understand the card. And I don't have the threshold for popularity. I only have 3. I haven't got much opportunity at popularity, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and place this. So I'm going to place that right here. That gives me a nice cluster right there and plenty of money around here if I want to place. These 2 are cut off, these 2 symbols, but that's kind of how it goes. You're not going to be able to get, free reign at all the surrounding symbols every time. And I'm still in line making even columns. I'm not kind of stretching out and accruing corruption because this is the event that's going to trigger next. So here's where keeping the corruption is pretty good. So if I have less corruption than my opponent has 6 corruption, I'm keeping myself at 0. I'll be able to pay 2 money to get 1 popularity. So this would be a way to boost my popularity such that I am, beating the threshold and I can get some good discounts. All right, we have this card with a lot of money. On the other side, a walrus with glasses, helmet. So for every flag, so when I do the initial placement, the flags are wild, but when I count up what's on the edges, the flags are just their own thing. So this would be based on just flags, and I would get 2 votes. I'm not really focused on votes right now. I'm kind of getting up my resources and my thresholds. So do I want to pass on you or do I want to place you in the field? I think I want to place you in the field. Having this much money on the edges is a good thing. And it gives me 3 votes if I really wanted it to. So this slush fund investigation triggers. So as I said before, the corruption on the Elephant Man is 6. So I could spend up to 12 gold and get up to 6 popularity. And I'm going to do that. I don't have ways to get popularity, but I do have ways to get money. So let's go ahead and spend 12 gold. I have 19. So that brings me down to 7. And I get popularity from 3 to 9. So 9 popularity would bring me even with the elephant. So I don't have to worry about that popularity. I'm going to meet most of the assistant thresholds at that level to get cheaper stuff. So a lot of good things are going to happen for me there. All right, so right now, order of operations is a little bit important. This is the next card, so I can study what I want in terms of the grid. However, I cannot check the back. I can check the back, but that would lose the opportunity to place this one. I might want to place this one here, get money. I would get 8 money from the outside and up to 3 money inside, and that would enable me to buy whatever is on the back. I cannot check the back of this until I make a decision about this card. Because I draw this card, and when you draw a card, you have to deal with it. That's kind of how that works. So let's go ahead. I don't know if I'm going to get too much of a better opportunity to do this. So I'm going to do that. And do I want to pivot to vote yet, or do I want to focus on money? Let's still focus on money. All right, so that is going to be 10 And I'm going to get another 3 votes. And we got 2, 4, 6, 8. I got cut off of these symbols, so that's whatever. So I am now at 18. I feel a lot better about my ability to purchase pretty much anything in the deck. Okay, so here is some gun and some money. That would be a good fit right there because that's 2 gun right there, 2 money right there. Or, let's see what I got. We have another discard power. So that would be, okay, I meet the threshold, so it only cost me 5. And anytime I discarded, I would get a vote. So getting a vote and a gun on a discard is pretty good. I have 5 discards left, so it's basically worth 5 votes. You know what? I definitely want to try to hit that 12 threshold, and this might help me. So let's go ahead and put that right here. The 12 threshold for power, that is. So I'm going to try to get a flag right there, or a gun. A gun's a little bit rare. And I have a 2 money over there, so that's not the worst placement, and I wasn't that sold on this power. Anyway, I have other ways to get votes. I may, famous last words, right? All right, so I did get the gun, but I got the gun in kind of the wrong place. Yeah, that's not going to work, and more booze. So what I get on the back? Ooh, okay. The Kappa, Jessica. Every time I discard, I would lose corruption. I'm playing a game where I'm not getting a lot of corruption. Don't hit the threshold for, wow, this would be a massive discount. Yeah, that's not going to be great. I don't know if this card is too great at all. I'd get a little bit more booze. I'm not really playing with a lot of booze in this game. Getting popularity would be okay, but I've got another, I just got a good shot of it. So let's go ahead and discard you. And that gets me another power, which brings me to 12. And also 2 more money, which brings me to 20. All right, next up, I'm not super excited about this many votes, at least in the mid game. Towards the end game, this would be a little bit more enticing for me. Let's see what's on the back. We have Sully. Sully, I'm eligible for the discount. I'll only be worth 6. And for the trouble, I would have this power, which is money would equal, money symbols would be money and votes. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to go down from 20 to 14. And I don't have to place it right now, but why not? Because I want the money available to me now. So we have 8 votes. 8 votes brings me to 14. I'm not quite ignoring them. I'm doing okay. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to be another 8 money. And 4 more votes, which brings me to 18 total, 18 money, 18 votes. Not bad at all. All right, this one's going to work a little bit better with my grid. We got money and power. All right, so we got two pairs of money right there, power. If that doesn't say Mayor of Chicago, I don't know what does. I should look in the back, right? Yeah, I'm not even look at that. Don't even worry. Okay, so the next one is the rainbow of symbols. So the benefits here on the available corners, the leftmost corners, aren't that great to me, but it isn't that bad to put it here. I would have an adjacency there, an adjacency there, and you got to take what you can get. You can hold out for perfection. Sometimes that is the enemy of the good. So let's go ahead and put that right there, which does net me a corruption, but the event cards, as you will see, will give me an opportunity to deal with this corruption, so I'm not too bothered by it. And I already got the event that dealt with it with corruption. There's only one of them, so I'm past that. So I'm not as intimidated by corruption. That's also part of the strat. Speaking of corruption, I'm thinking about acquiring a little bit more. So this would be a good cluster to get some votes. Right now, I'm kind of in mid to end game, so I can think about votes a little bit more. I love the fact that I have 2 outward-facing flags. That creates a lot of adjacencies. So this would be a really good place for this one, but that would net me another corruption. Do I care about the assistant on the back? Boo symbols, which I've been avoiding. Yeah, no thanks. So let's go ahead and put that there and get another corruption. Yeah, so this is what I don't like. This is a good card with a lot of different symbols, but they're all over the place and they're in the wrong places. And also, in case you're curious, I can't put here. If you're going to place into a row, you have to put in the leftmost place. Can't be selective where this goes. Let's see. We got another boo symbol to get money. I have enough money. I don't have enough boo symbols out there. Yeah, I'm not even going to look at you. I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't want to discard guys anymore. Or am I at that point? You know what? Sure. I can have 7 in here. 4 is not the worst. And I'm also in mid-game. And I do want to get to the 12 power. So that brings me back up to 20 money. That's good. And I have 12 power. So the event that's going to hit me, I'm even with the elephant, so I'm not going to get hit with any adverse effects from the event. I'm happy with that. All right, lots of vote. Man, I wish I had gotten this a little bit towards the end game, but that's okay. All right, so we have this one. I'm not going to get no discount from here. That would give me some money for guns. I could trade booze for 5 coins each, which is a huge amount. Don't have too many places where I have like a whole bunch of guns, like on the outer edges. So like, if I placed it here, eventually I would get 2. That's not very impressive. Here, 2. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to deal with you. Haven't gotten a lot of good or great assistance lately. They're coming. And I don't want to discard. So let's just do the best we can with what we got. At least we have a flag. Try not to put the flags down in the corners down here because that's kind of wasting them, but I'm going to put them right here. So eventually, if I wanted to, I'm not going to fill every city block, but if I can, here's some money sitting for me. All right, let's see. Another card, another rainbow, and another card that interacts with booze. Didn't I see you already, Miguel? Are there 2 copies of Miguel? I don't know. I'm going to place this one. Let's go ahead and just put it there. So this would get me a decent amount of popularity. I am looking specifically at this event. This event is going to trigger when I fail this column, which is coming up soon. And also I'm looking at that end game one. If I exceed, which I will, the boss, then I can trade my, or not trade, but like for every excess popularity I have, that would mean 1 vote. So that's more victory points. So getting more popularity would work out for me pretty good. I think that's worth the 1 corruption. I don't know if it is, but that is fine. All right, I was waiting for money. Good. I have some money over here. Let's check the back. Ooh, wow. That is a really tempting one. This would be really great to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4 would get me a lot of votes. I would get the popularity and the votes, or I could just take advantage of the fact that there's money on here, plenty of money. Oh, man. But I see the next card in the deck is the same exact thing. So it's like dollar bill, y'all. And yeah, I think that I'm going to do it. Let's go ahead and buy you. So that is worth 10 because I meet the threshold. So it brings me down from 20 to 10. Again, I could reserve it, but I don't want to. Let's just go ahead and do it because I like having the popularity. So we're going to place you. So we got 5 more popularity, bringing me to 14 and a vote, bringing me to 9. Boom. And for every one of these symbols, 1, 2, 3, 4, I get 2 votes. I get 8. So that I have 19, which is going to bring me to 27. The threshold is 50, so I'm halfway there. All right, enough dilly-dallying. Let's go ahead and finish some columns. So this is another discard for booze. Not a game where I'm playing with a lot of booze, so that's fine. What said I was going to put it there, I'm going to put it there. So now Bullets in the Streets hits. For every power that I have below the opponent, I would have to give up either a coin or a vote. We are tied at 12. We have equal power, staring each other down, baby. That's lots of theme in this game, right? I joke about that, but the game does have a good amount of style, and I appreciate style. All right, so we have another kind of rainbow, but I got some hearts right there. And, ooh, a new power. I wonder what that power does. This power negates events. I am dealing with the events just fine. I have a feeling this would be more useful in a more wicked game where you're having trouble meeting the thresholds, so I'm not going to worry about that. So would this card be good there? For money, yes. Okay, I'm just going to keep on going for money. This might be a case because I only have 8 placements left where I'm going to want to look to pivot. But since I have the money already right here, I'm just going to let that be. All right, so now if I was below the popularity, then I'll be losing votes, but I'm certainly not. I am at 14. I am way more popular than Mr. Elephant. Next up with this card, got a lot of booze. I'm going to try to hold out and not get booze. I know I've given up a couple opportunities, but I'm trying to focus here. And also the backside is this card. I don't have a lot of available heart symbols at all. Let's go ahead and discard you. I'm going to get a power and 2 money. I now have 12 money. This is a little bit more like it. I don't love the guns, but there's some cards that interact with guns. The booze I'll deal with. Flag I like. I like the fact that it's on the right side. Lots of flexibility. All right, so another symbol. Okay, this is actually, that's a promising one. So this one says, if I place them next to a bunch of assistants, so like if I placed it here, I'll be next to 4 assistants. The adjacencies do count, or the diagonals do count as adjacent for that particular purpose. So that would be 8 more votes. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and buy this and reserve it and see if I can get a real benefit out of it. The fact that I meet the popularity threshold helps out a lot there. 9 is great because I'm at 12. Bring me down to 3. That's the real, wow. I'm really popular, but I am broke. You know what? I'm going to place it right now. Broke is a joke and I don't like it. So let's go ahead and place that right there. That's going to give me 3 money for the flag and the dollar. So that's going to put me up to 6. And also 3 votes. So that brings me up to 30 votes. 30 votes is a good place to be. And we are going to do 2, 4, 6, 8, which brings me to 38 votes. All right, exciting. Still broke. This is the promise of more money in the future. On the backside, oh wait, I have 14 popularity, not 15. I can't even afford him. He's pretty good though. If I place him, then I would double what I get from the placement. So if I were to place it here, this would be 5 votes would be 10, and then 1 popularity would be 2, but I can't afford him. Oh well. Instead, let's go ahead and place you in, this will be a good cluster, some popularity. Popularity will turn into votes. If I want to take advantage of, I will absolutely take that trade. Okay. Ooh, more popularity. Popularity turning into votes. And those symbols will turn into more popularity, but I can afford you. No, I cannot. I only have 6 money. Let's keep on laying down that grid. I like the flags. See what's on the back over here. So dollar signs would get me votes. 15 popularity. Man, I should have realized that 15 is a common threshold. Never mind, that's fine. But I like the flags. Let's go ahead and put you there. So set me up to get a good amount of money from that. And also there as well. Here is another card. More reasonable. This is, if there's booze around, then I would get votes. Literally pretty much no booze. There's like 1 little symbol right there. Yeah, that's not going to help me at all. But this is a unfortunate set of symbols for me because the popularity is that way. I don't feel like getting any more corruption. I'm broke anyway, so 6 out of 7. Let's go ahead and just give that a ride. While I'm here, I got another card that's very disappointing. It's a discard power, which I don't plan on discarding, or I won't be discarding at all. I don't like this card. I can, if I want to, discard it face down for no reward, no penalty. I'm broke. All right, so I am at 10 coins and 14 power. I'm at the maximum that I want to discard. I'm going to want to place more, and I do have some more assistants to buy. Hopefully I get some good ones. Reaching the end game, I was able to discard that because I at least like the look of that top card. So what's on the back? A little bit more vote getting. I can definitely place them, and they're pretty easy to buy, but I like the idea of putting that right there. And I will trigger this, but I am ahead of the opponent on weaponry, so I don't have to worry about that. More. All right. We have money and gun. On the back, a discard power. Come on. I want a discard power. And I'm not going to discard this one. So I'm just going to, I'm just going to let it run. So let's put that right there. At least we'll put the 2 gun together. You see that I'm in the end game. There are not many cards left. Come on, give me some assistance. I need some assistance. All right, there you go. Some good ones. Okay, so I'm not really that interested in in getting more popularity right now, but I'm probably going to buy this one at cheap. Okay, so for every dollar sign around there, I get votes. I could work with that, obviously. All right, so we got 3 coins. Going to put me down to 7. All right, so this is where the grid picking get a little bit suboptimal, but at least I'm able to get money right there. So that's going to get me 8 money, so that'll put me back up to 15. That's not bad at all. And for every dollar sign, I had a lot of flags, unfortunately. The flags, holding out for a flag would have been nice. That's okay. But I'm able to get 2 votes, which brings me to 40. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 assistants. I can get 3 more. Why am I turning that around? Okay, so we got some flags. Flag is good. See what I got over here. Adjacencies get me power. Oh, whoa. And power at the end game will get me votes. Okay. So, adjacency, like right there, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and more power right there. That's basically votes. Yes, absolutely. But unfortunately, it is. Why am I not at 15 popularity? I'm at 14. Oh my God. I didn't plan ahead and get a bunch of booze or get any booze. Booze would have filled in the trick. So I don't know if this is worth it for me, but I just like the idea of having a whole bunch of power. So let's go ahead and spend the 12. So that brings me down to 3. And place them right away. So I'm going to get money right there. And from placing it here, that's going to get me 5 power. So that brings me up to 19 power. And then 2 power based on adjacencies. 2, 4, 6, 8. Another 8. So I go from 19 to 27 power. That's votes. I think I hit the vote threshold pretty good, but I don't like the fact that I'm broke. All right, I only have 4. So I don't even know why I'm looking at the other one. So this one is I'd be able to imitate. So that'd be a really nice, really flexible one. But that's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and place because I just want to place things. I'm really basically coming down to the end. I only got 4 cards left, 2 placements, and what would be 2 assistants, but I don't think I can afford the assistants. Unless I discarded. I don't know about that. Another discard one. That's okay. Let's just go ahead and finish placing that there. And we have one that I could afford. Very nice. And one that would get me some more votes, which is also very nice. All right. So I'm not going to be able to afford that last one unless I strike. You know what? Yeah, I think I have a chance. Let's see. Okay. So I don't have to worry about this. Let's go ahead and put that here. 5 money, which brings me up to 9. I'm feeling okay about that. Wait a minute. I have to spend 4, which brings me to 0. And then 5 brings me back to 5. And 1 little old popularity, which brings me to 16. 16 is very good. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more votes brings me to 44. All right. I'm going to fill in this one, and I can do 1 more assistant. If they're cheap for $5. Nope, not cheap for $5. That's booze. I don't want them anyway. So let's go ahead and just put you as a city. Doesn't matter. And I'm not going to be scoring any adjacencies anymore. So, all right. Can I afford you? No. Can I afford you? No. 5. So instead, we're just going to discard them face down. I did not get to my 10 assistants, but I got 9. That's not the worst thing in the world. All right. That's the end of the game. Final scoring time. Yeah, I know. I was supposed to count that, but I don't have any booze. So don't even worry about this event. All right, people, final scoring. Let's do it one at a time. So each of the events trigger. If I'm below the threshold for the assistant, I am certainly not. You're out of here. Do I have more corruption than the assistant? They have 6. I have 3. That's not going to count either. Here's what makes me happy. If I have more, for every power that I have more than the bot, I gain a vote. 12 to 27. So that's 15 votes. So we're going to go ahead from 44 to 59, dude. All right. Same thing with popularity. Popularity is 9. I'm at 16. That's another 7 votes. So that brings me to 66. Hope I'm adding that right. Right. I'm doing this on the fly. Sorry about that. All right. So if I have more power, I can spend power to get rid of corruption. My power is already spent. So let's and you do resolve the events in order. So let's go ahead and lower my power and get rid of all my corruption. That's why I wasn't worried about it there. And finally, booze. Don't have to worry about that. Discarded the assistants because they cost me 7 votes. That brings me back down to 59. And I have defeated the This elephant over here, 59 to 50. Would I have beaten any of the 3 stars? 50, 55. I did beat them, not the 4 stars, I'll tell you that. And it would have been less money. And yeah, it would have been less money. You saw how much money I got from discarding over there, and I was pretty strapped. These are a little bit more friendly, but having less money would have been difficult. That's don't know if I would have done too well in 3 stars, but that is the end of the game. Final thoughts for Mayor of Chicago. I really dig this one. It is going to stick around in my collection. I'm probably going to play it a couple more times just for my own pleasure, which doesn't really happen a lot when I'm playing and reviewing and filming games. Usually it's film it and then you kind of move on. Here, I'm interested. The core gameplay is really simple and also interesting. A lot of times that's a trade-off, but I think in this particular case, it's both. You pick that card and then you do something with it. And every single time you just pick one card, you don't have that huge decision. You don't have a hand of cards, but you have enough decisions in terms of the adjacencies and, the flip. Do I want to play it on its front side or do I play it for its assistant? That choice every single turn is just really well crafted. The assistants are a lot of fun, taking advantage of different powers, trying to hold off and maximize the different assistants and exploring the different discards. Okay, I want to set up a couple discards and get some extra juice or some of the more peculiar powers. Sometimes I'll discard them and not use them. Sometimes, they'll be the difference in, a game or something like that. The opponents are okay in terms of threshold. I mean, I know that kind of beat your own score is a thing amongst gamers. We like a little bit more active opposition. I'll get to that in a second. But I think in this particular case, not only does it beat your own score, it does establish these mid-game thresholds that interact with the events in a simple way. It's a lot of the game is just kind of going for simple and engaging within that kind of smaller bandwidth. And I think it does accomplish that. I do think, having played this game a couple of times and looking forward to playing it a little bit more, that the game will get a little bit static. Once you kind of know how to maximize scores and when to balance things, then it's like, okay, I'm going to go for the gun now. Now I'm going to go for the popularity now because that's when the events tell me to try to beat the boss there. Not always possible, but it's like, okay, you kind of get the rhythm after a little while. Mixing these up a little bit more, maybe a little bit more randomness and active opposition would be welcome to create that replayability, but that's a trade-off. Making things more complex, which might interrupt the flow a little bit. But overall, Mayor of Chicago for me is a keeper. And I should note at this point that I've only played this game solo. It is possible to play this game at a 2-player cooperative mode, but you need an additional copy of the game in order to do that. You can go ahead and explore that option on your own as well. My sincerest hope is that through this playthrough and mini review, I've given you all the tools that you need to see if this game is worth your gaming time and your gaming dollar. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop. None of you will see you at the next stop.